Hello, targeted individuals. Um, Today, we're going to discuss what normal conspiracies or assumed conspiracies that they are. These are conspiracies that society accepts um, that are true. And this is why society has the need for law enforcement. Haven't you ever asked yourself, why do we need law enforcement? Obviously, the story goes back a long way. The first police was invented in the UK, I think in the 1700s or 1800s, and basically it's just a militia group that offered to help citizens deal with these assumed conspiracies. They weren't really assumed. These are conspiracies that citizens had experienced. Yeah, and so they knew that this happens, and they needed the law enforcement to make sure that when they interact with each other, they can identify these conspirators and put them to justice. So it was law enforcement is there to assist us with these known experienced conspiracies. That's what they were there to do, to protect us from fooling around with each other. Yeah. Now I'll go into it. There's, in my view, two classes, two types of conspiracies. The first class is an ideological based conspiracy. Now, ideological based conspiracies, sometimes when you do your research online, you see that they haven't been classified as ideological based, but they will just say they'll split it into political based, religious based, and lifestyle based. Yeah, but everybody has their own point of view of how to view, how to see um, these conspiracies. Now, obviously, you can also look at trial and conviction data as evidence, and you see that most of the reasons why people conspire against each other, conspiracies sometimes lead to harm, sometimes even lead to death. But we all know conspiracies take place because they are trials and convictions that also prove that conspiracies take place. So you're not paranoid for thinking that conspiracies take place some of the time. Yeah. Now, ideological based conspiracies can be drawn along the lines of political beliefs. What I mean by that is that somebody might have a political belief that is different from yours, and then they take a disliking to you and they start to conspire against you. If you beat someone in a debate that's got a different political view to you, they might start to conspire against you based along those lines. And then there's religious views. Obviously, I try not to be political or religious in my talks because I don't want to debate people who resort to conspiring and initiating gang stalking programs against me. Most political and religious groups, when you debate them and they lose an argument, you start to experience gang stalking, gaslighting, and things like that, uncivilized stuff. So I try not to debate people along political and religious lines. Then there's in the third tier to the ideological based conspiracies are philosophical beliefs on lifestyle choices. Now, that should be self-evident. And now, if you're somebody who believes that a certain lifestyle choice is wrong, yeah, and you debate someone who is promoting that lifestyle choice, and you beat them in a debate, you will start to get gang stalked and gaslighted. Yeah, so people who have a philosophical view and then you find loopholes in it, and then they know you're wrong but they can't take it, they will resort to gang stalking you and gaslighting. These are when you posting your videos as targeted individuals, try to avoid these kind of subjects if you want to reduce the level of gang stalking and gaslighting in your life. You can approach these subjects. I mean, I'm talking about it right now, but as you can see, the way I'm talking about it, I'm not specific to any group. Yeah, so no one can really say that I talked about them, but I'm just talking about people who are like that, people who have a philosophical belief or a lifestyle choice, and where our opinions differ. And when they try to convince me, and nobody asked them to convince me, when they try to convince me of their lifestyle choice or political belief, and I voice an opinion that's different from them, then they go ahead and resort to gang stalking me and gaslighting me and trying to ruin my life. That, I mean, I try not to be specific to people. I just want to alert targeted individuals to people like that. Yeah, beware of people who have a philosophical belief and their way is wrong in your eyes, and you know why it's wrong, but every time you point it out, you get gaslighted and gang stalked. Now let's move on to the second type of conspiracy that you may experience. This is a economic based conspiracy. Now, economic based means it's to do with your money and your status, your economic status. So some people might get involved in industrial espionage. This is where two companies are fighting for an individual or fighting a individual, and they resort to fooling around with you at all levels. And we'll see later what kind of sources of support and aid they are for these people. So you might be working for a company and you want to be and another company wants to poach you. So they might start to fool around with you when you're at your company, where everything goes wrong, and that forces you to leave or puts you at a disadvantage when it comes to the negotiation table. So you might be a victim of that. And then there's workplace espionage, where within the workplace you could have other competitors. You might be going for a job, and then somebody else sees into your mind if you're targeted individuals, and sees your plan to go for that, and starts to get other support and aid to assist him in obviously bringing gang stalking and gaslighting into your life. Then there's inter-family espionage. This is where you have a family member that hates you for one reason or another because you're more successful than them, or because you might become more successful than them, where they're always watching your mind to make sure that you never get any success in your life. As soon as they see you going for a new job, they might try and sabotage you there. As soon as they see you going for something that would improve your economic situation, they'll use their support and aid to sabotage you, because they are peer to you along family lines. They want to be the best in the family, that kind of thing. Some people might experience that. Then there's peer pressure based espionage. Now, when you're in a peer group, I don't join peer groups because I don't experience any of. I try to reduce the number of known conspiracies because I'm doing an experiment. Known conspiracies that's not my main concern my main targeting. Assume conspiracy is just 1/3 of what I have to worry about. So I need to reduce that. That's why I don't really hang around with any of this. Yeah, I don't hang around anywhere. I'm a recluse. I stay at home alone. I don't really hang around with any of this. Yeah, and I keep my views in check. So I've reduced this to almost, but there's still there's still a few. They're still there, and I'll explain to you in subsequent videos. Even when you leave them alone, they still find you. They will come looking for you when you have left them alone. Yeah, they will come looking for you because some hatred is well, if you don't have the intelligence, then hatred can really consume your soul, and some of these people become like that. So let's go to peer pressure based espionage. Now, you're part of a peer group, just friends hanging about, and then if it's a mixed peer group, boys and girls, and as soon as you like a girl in there, there might be another member of the group that starts to disorganize you by using other members of the group, or by he might take a disliking to you and start to conspire against you. And if you look at court legal data based on trials and convictions, you find that I think I can't remember the exact amount, but I think something silly like 60 to 80% of all homicides and sexual attacks, yeah, are committed by people that you knew. Yeah. So you find that in most cases, peer pressure based espionage was the reason for the homicide or the reason for the attack. Interfamily espionage was the reason for it. So you get these um, types of conspiracies happening, and we know they happen because most murders taking place are due to conspiracies of this nature, and most sexual attacks as well are due to conspiracies. You can find one of these categories to as the motive for that crime. Now, let's move on to the sources of support and aid for these conspirators. Now, the most obvious source when you're trying to conspire against someone, just think of it this way: if I'm trying to conspire against, no, if somebody's trying to conspire against me, they'll say, all right, okay, I hate this person, I hate his guts, my woman likes him, I don't like him, what am I going to do? You start to look for like-minded sources. You start to look for other people who also have their women who like me and they hate me. Um, so you start to work with those. That's called an enemy of an enemy. Yeah? Somebody else whose woman also likes me, that also is taking a disliking to me. So you can find aid and support with an enemy of an enemy. Then, of course, if you have political beliefs, the obvious choice would be to find like-minded sources, yeah, from a political party, yeah. And if you have religious views and you're looking for sources of support and aid, you go to like-minded sources of a religious nature, religious organizations, yeah. And if you have a lifestyle choice, let's say you're in the what was it, LGBT or whatever, or I don't know, people who I don't know, whatever lifestyle choice you've chosen, people who are anti-abortion or pro-abortion, whatever lifestyle choice you've chosen, and your philosophical belief, obviously to get support and aid, yeah, you have to be around like-minded sources. Now, where it starts to become conspiracy, yeah, somebody has a different political view to you, so you look for support and aid among um, like-minded sources, like political parties. So you go to your political party and also look for people who would be willing to conspire with you to attack that individual. And it's also the same with lifestyle choices. Some of us do become victims to people who have made lifestyle choices that we disagree with. They challenge us to debate them on it, or we find ourselves in a debate when they have that opinion and I have that opinion, and I beat them in a debate, and they go to their like-minded sources, community groups and forums, political based or lifestyle based community groups and forums, and they look for people who they can conspire with to initiate gang stalking and so forth. Yeah. And obviously for those who are economic based, who are victims to economic-based conspiracies, industrial espionage. To carry out industrial espionage, you might look for approval, like-minded sources and aid, uh, like-minded, like-minded management and board, yeah, to have them on board. Yeah, so you say, right, I want to poach this individual from that organization. Um, Let me get approval from the management, yeah, and boom, and it starts from there. And if you're in the workplace, if you're victim to workplace espionage, somebody who's conspiring against you might look for support and aid from like-minded sources in the workplace, other colleagues, yeah, um, might help him, or even management sometimes. And if you're in an family espionage situation where family members are targeting you, um, they'll look for like-minded sources within the family, like-minded sources within friends of family, yeah, and they'll also look for like-minded sources within their friendship circle or outside their friendship circle as well, yeah, to help them, to see if anybody can help them conspire with you, yeah. And if you're in peer pressure based espionage, it will definitely be friends within that peer circle or friends outside that peer circle. They might also approach their family and friends and um, to see if anybody can help them, support them in conspiring against you. And there's also another group, yeah, of people who support and aid conspirators. These are sources concerned with making money at the expense of ethics. Yeah, I won't use the word that this basically, there's a word that means to be concerned with making money at the expense of ethics. I will not use that word because when I use that word, it gives off different connotations, which is what I'm not getting at. The word is mercenary. So, so they'll use another source for people who conspire against you would be to use people who are concerned with making money at the expense of ethics. Corrupt civil servants, yeah, to help them change a law that will target us, change a law to target individuals, yeah. Corrupt government officials, same thing, yeah. Corrupt law enforcement, like most of these, in fact, all of them, yeah, can use corrupt law enforcement when targeting you. That's when police start following you about, start appearing in your vision, where they just say, right, he's looking that way, let's drive so that he can see us, let's pass through his vision. So they start the street theater, yeah. So that's corrupt law enforcement and other criminals, of course, which is very obvious. If you're going to use people who are concerned with making money at the expense of ethics, criminals are you. Yeah, but criminals are getting intelligent. They're not really gonna do it for free now, are they? These people can be family friends or family members themselves. So you have a family member that is in any of these positions and is also willing to make money at the expense of his ethics, which is basically you swore to a duty to the public, and you're willing to compromise that for money or friendship or family. So they have a lot to use, but for me, I have a spiritual component to my targeting, so I try to reduce this. This is noise for me. I still have targeting across all of these 7 different categories or levels. Yeah, I still have targeting within the family, within people who think I'm peer to them, within the workplace, within cross industry, yeah, and also my political beliefs. I haven't formed any, so I don't know how. My religious beliefs, I have my own church, and my philosophical beliefs. I don't believe in certain lifestyle choices, but I don't encourage people to attack you. Me personally, I don't believe in certain lifestyle choices, but I won't encourage anyone to attack them. If you believe in a lifestyle choice that I don't like, that's you. Good for you. But me, I'm just somebody who doesn't believe that that's right, because I have my evidence that I'm going by, and I've shown people evidence which shows that if you choose this lifestyle choice and you promote it, and the manipulation works, and 100% of the population takes to it, will become extinct. And for that reason, I believe it's wrong. Yeah. So whatever lifestyle choice you've got, what I do, I take that lifestyle choice. I say, if you started manipulating everyone to do that, and it got to 100% accepting it, if I see extinction, that's why I believe it's wrong. So I base it on science. Yeah. I base my lifestyle choices on science. Yeah. If it was to be applied 100%, can we live for eternity? If not, I disagree with that. Yeah. So if you want to attack me for showing you that you're wrong by going there, yeah, I try to reduce that. I try to reduce that so that I can concentrate on isolating those moments where they use spiritual based support and aid. Yeah, I haven't included spiritual based support and aid here because that's a discussion, that's a video, a whole other discussion and video by itself. So I hope you targeted individuals can understand that these are conspiracies that everyone, whether you know you're targeted or not, is going through. Yeah. The only difference is you as a targeted individual chose to stay decent. You chose to keep your morals and principles, yeah, and you chose to be free, and they bloody hate you for it. They bloody hate you for it. Yeah. So I don't believe that targeted individuals should centralize, because all they will be doing is attacking one circle. But if we devolve and decentralize, then let's say somebody has to use 100 people to attack this guy, 100 to attack this guy, 100 to attack this guy, they'll be out of shape. But if we all in one center, then they can just put 100 around us or 1,000 around us and take us all out. But if we're all different and we're all tough to beat and we all stick to our morals and principles, yeah, my saying is every man must be a general. If we're all tough to beat, they'll need 1,000 for each one. They don't have enough people. 1,000 for each one. If there's 7 billion people on the planet, yeah, divide that by 1,000, then that would be like 7 million of us. Yeah, I'm using up 7 billion of them. They better have 7 billion to keep 7 million of us down. It's not going to work, is it? So if we decentralize, if we do not centralize, we stand a better chance of winning. But of course, if you believe that we can centralize, well, that's a different approach. So let's do both approaches. Yeah, one way or another, it's a two-pronged attack then. One way or another, we're going to win.